Hello Ramen Nation, Chris Cobain here, bring you another Omega Ruby Alpha Sapphire Wi-Fi battle. This one is a battle I had actually just yesterday against subscriber and regular to stream Megatroid Skittle. Most of you probably are aware of him already, and this is a really good match that comes down to the very final play. So I knew I wanted to upload this one. So real quick, let's go ahead and take a look at the teams. Jump right into it here. My team's going to be a defensive Swampert. On my typical Calm Mind Florgs, a Life Orb Crawdaunt, Mega Sceptile, Zapdos, and Cobalion. And my opponent's team is going to be S-Cavalier, Florgs as well, Arcanine, Mamoswine, Zapdos, and Mega Sceptile as well. So the first thing you're going to note is that both teams are, they're half the same. Both teams are carrying Florgs, Zapdos, and Mega Sceptile, showing some of the real powerhouses that do exist in UU. Because all three of them are very good. And I'm pretty scared of my opponent's team here. You got a pretty basic UU team outside of S-Cavalier, and the S-Cavalier is to counter Alakazam. His S-Cavalier is going to be a choice banded variant with Pursuit, and all it has to do is come in on an Alakazam one time. It can take any hit twice, including Focus Blast, and it just kills with Pursuit. So that's just a straight up Kazam counter, and honestly it's one of the best in the game. So expect, if you're a big UU battle, you might want to expect S-Cavalier to rise in usage a little bit just because of that, because he's honestly one of the best. So anyway, let's go ahead and jump right into the game. I'm going to make my typical lead when I play with this team, and that's going to be to lead with Swampert, because Swampert is a stealth rocker. However, my opponent makes a really smart play, and knowing that, he counter leads me by bringing out his Sceptile. Now, obviously, there's not much I can do right here because he's going to one-hit me with like Giga Drain or something. So I'm going to go ahead and switch right out, and I'm going to go into my Zapdos, because Zapdos can take any of his hits with ease. So he's actually going to click Focus Blast after he goes for the Mega here. I think Focus Blast was a prediction for Cobalion. That's the only one that makes a bunch of sense. Now, Cobalion is easily 2-hit KO'd by Leaf Storm, so I'm sure he didn't know that right off the bat, but that is the case, so unnecessary play there, but he still gets the hit and it does decent damage. So at this point, looking at his team, I'm not seeing a real Heat Wave switch in considering the Arcanine, so I'm just going to click Heat Wave right here. But actually, as he reveals to me, he forgot to switch the abilities on his Arcanine, meaning he's no longer Intimidate. He is a defensive Arcanine, but it's Flash Fire instead. I don't know this at the time. Of course, as I see, Flash Fire, I instantly believe fully offensive. So my easiest play is to go ahead and switch right into Swampert. He's going to reveal the defensive set, though, right here with Will-O-Wisp, which right at the time I was like, okay, alright, Flash Fire, Will-O-Wisp, interesting. But as you're going to see, as the Flash Fire helped him there, it will come back to bite him here in just a little bit. So I know he's probably going to switch here, most likely into like Sceptile or possibly Zapdos. So I'm just going to go ahead and click Stealth Rock to see what happens. He does go into Sceptile, which I'm happier with because that means he cannot defog right away. So again, I don't want to stay in here, but this time I know that he's going to predict the Zapdos switch in and click the only move that he's got for Zapdos, that being Dragon Pulse. So for me, I've got an easy, free switch in to Florgs. Now, if this was any other situation, I would instantly predict not Cobalion, excuse me, that's my team, as Cavalier, and I would switch right out, but because I want to get that burn off of Swampert, just so he doesn't get wore down, I'm going to go ahead and click Aromatherapy here and get rid of that. That leaves me in a kind of poor position because I'm up against what I know is a Bandit S-Cavalier, but I do have a Pokemon that resists both of his stabs and makes him pay for clicking Knockoff and Cobalion, so that's what we're going to go into. But being a good battler that Megatroid is, he knows this is coming, this exact play, and he's actually going to double right back out into Sceptile, who has been all over me in the early game here, and I'm trying to find a way to get rid of it. But now that we get rocks up, we can sit here and kind of wear his team down until he tries to get rid of him, so we're not in a bad position so far. So again, we're going to go right into Zapdos here because there's not much. I know Dragon Ball is too risky because if he clicks it, I live and he dies. Kind of thought he'd go for Leaf Storm, but he does go for the Focus Blast yet again, which is fine because Zapdos is just going to eat that up a second time. So at this point, I'm going to go ahead and roost. I was almost positive he would click Dragon Pulse there. I was correct. He does click Dragon Pulse, and I'm going to go ahead and roost all that damage back off, letting him know, just asserting dominance and letting him know that that Sceptile is not taking my Zapdos out. I will not allow him to do so. So at this point, I know he's forced to switch. This was a really risky play for me, but I click Thunderbolt on a Lightning Rod right here. But I predict correctly, and he does go into Zapdos. I thought he might go into Arcanine, but he does go into Zapdos, and I'm going to hit him really hard here. Now, this Zapdos, while being invested heavily in defenses, does have a decent little chunk of special attack and speed investment, meaning that I am not in a speed tie in this situation since he's most likely a fully defensive set. I am faster. And I get lucky here, and I get a pretty high roll with this second Thunderbolt, and I actually take down the Zapdos directly, which means his only way to remove rocks is gone. And that's a big deal for me. That'll really work against his Arcanine and wear down his entire team. So he's going to bring out his Stealth Rocker and Mamoswine. Now, my Cobalion is actually a Shukaberry set, meaning that I can incorrectly predict a Mamo one time and be fine. Now, he makes a really smart play here, and he does click Earthquake, which really is the correct decision, and he does catch me. But thanks to the Shukaberry, I do live it, and that means I'm able to go ahead and fight off the Mamoswine and force it out at least once. So he will switch out, and this is, like I said, this is where he's truly going to pay for not being intimidated here, as he's going to bring out Arcanine with the rocks, and because that, even when he's even when he's fully defensive, without that Intimidate, you see that Arcanine is really, truly not that bulky. And he even is a Rocky Helmet set, no extreme speed, and I'm going to go ahead and double CC for the kill. Now, this is a double down. The Rocky Helmet that crit did not matter, by the way. I didn't even know it crit until just now. But the Rocky Helmet's going to take me out. It will be a double down, but it does remove his Flash Fire switch in, meaning that I can freely Heat Wave much better at this point. So I'm going to bring in Crawdon here because I'm really fearing that Mamoswine. It would be really easy for me to bring out Zapdos, so I figured he'd counter do that with Mamo. He did not. Now, I actually could have stayed in here and tried to kill him with Crab Hammer, but it was a little too risky for my taste, so I decided not to, and I went for Zapdos instead, knowing that Zapdos could eat up any of his hits. Check this damage out. Now, like I said, not fully defensive. I do have investment in both special attack, and speed, but still mostly defensive, easy to hit KO. And that going, that's power, guys. So now at this point, he's gonna switch into his Mamoswine. I actually thought he might bring out Florgs there, but I went for Heat Wave straight off anyway. It does a good chunk of damage, meaning that Mamoswine is no longer a switch in for Heat Wave. And I do still want to keep Zapdos up. Zapdos still makes a good switch in for Escavalier and can still one-shot him with Heat Wave. So I do want to keep him alive if at all possible. So we're going to switch into Swampert because he hasn't done a whole lot yet this match. And he will go ahead and again make the right play. I have no real switch-ins for Icicle Crash. So he's going to hit that. And actually he puts me in range to kill me with Earthquake, which actually surprised me. He's probably an Adamant set. And he did a lot of damage there. But this play actually confused me just a little bit. Instead of going for Earthquake and picking up the kill, he went for Rocks. Rocks don't really hurt me here at this point. They mess with Zapdos really bad. I guess that's what he wanted to do. But Zapdos was sitting at a little over half, which means that he would die to Megahorn. And he can't switch in on Sceptile, so I did find that a little weird. But he clicks it. I get to keep Swampert alive, at least for now. I actually stayed in here just to try to roar him out because he has no other way to get rid of Rock. So I figured Swampert's not going to be much more helpful with me anymore. And I just decided to go for the roar just in case. I get him. I mean, it's not a big deal. It does amount to a little bit of Rock's damage on both the Florgs and the Sceptile. Not a huge deal, but I didn't need Swampert, and I didn't really want anything else to take a lot of damage at this point. So this was basically sack, and as you're going to see, I wanted him to go into Escavalier, because then I could have outsped and tried for a Skull Burn, but he just going to Florgs. He is faster than me. He's going to kill me with Moonblast. That's fine, though. And it gives me a free switch in, so My switch in is really easy. Why don't I show off the power of Life Orb, not Adamant, but attack boosting nature Crawdon, and his Crab Hammer. He has no switch in. Sceptile with that extra rock damage will not be able to live a Crab Hammer plus Aqua Jet combo, even double resisting it, so he's forced to stay in, and I'm going to completely trash Flords with a crit that does not matter. And he will go ahead and switch into Sceptile one more time. Now, the Sceptile has threatened me the entire match at this point. At every single turn, it's just been there to freaking dominate me. So, at this point, I know my best switch is going to go ahead and be Sack Zapdos here. That's truly what I feel I want to do here. So, he's going to go ahead and go for Giga Drain. It's not going to kill me, but it doesn't really matter. He's going to heal up most of his HP back here, getting him almost back up to max. And then it's just an easy Dragon Pulse from there. I mean, I probably could have switched back into Florgs here if I predicted Dragon Pulse. I really thought he'd Giga Drain again, but he does Dragon Pulse. Doesn't matter. I stay in, and Zapdos is going to go down there, putting me at a 3-on-2 advantage. So now I'm going to switch into my own Sceptile here. Now, the point behind this is I can kill him with Dragon Pulse, but I don't have to Mega to do so. So I'm actually not even going to Mega here, meaning his Dragon Pulse wouldn't kill me. But he makes the correct decision and goes into Escavalier, which was a good play. Dragon Pulse not even stab, it does absolutely bullocks. And now we're going to go ahead and Mega into the Mega Sceptile. And as you're going to see here, Focus Blast is not going to do enough. Like I said, he's able to eat up Focus Blast even from Alakazam. And Mega Sceptile Focus Blast does less than half. He barely lives. And he's going to OHKO me with Iron Head. So, power. Now, at this point, I actually made a pretty bad misplay. I should have went into Florgs. If I go into Florgs here, I win. His Sceptile doesn't have enough HP left to kill me. I win. But I made a dominance play here just to make myself laugh. I went into Crawdon and clicked Ice Beam for the kill. Now, he carries Ice Beam so he can actually 2-hit Chestnut, which is the only true counter in UU. But this is a really bad misplay for me, because what it allows him to do is it allows him to switch into Sceptile here one last time and Giga Drain almost all of his health back. That's a really poor decision on my part, actually. Typically, I do play better than that. Like I said, if I bring in Florgs right there straight off, I do win this game pretty easily. And this is what ends up happening because I make this misplay. That seems like a joke. It's all fine and dandy. I still have Florgs, but he's modest. And as you're going to see, that does a lot. It gets him back up to max health. And then I really, really super low roll Moonblast. And he lives. I'm in Leaf Storm range. He Leaf Storms. He wins. I've lost because I wanted to be cocky. But RNG jumps in the way, and my misplay is getting rid of with a missed Focus Blast, that 90%. And then, of course, he's just going to straight up die to Moonblast, giving me the victory. So, if he was timid, I calced, it didn't matter. I would have lived the Leaf Storm, but he was modest, and I did calc, and I did not live that Leaf Storm at any portion. I'm a fully physically defensive, bold Florgs with Calm Mind, built to set up my extra special defense on Calm Minds. And I had about 50-ish, 55-ish% health, and it did minimum like 57, 58. So I'd lost, actually. So, like I said, bringing in Crawdon to fight that Escavalier was a really poor play. I just thought it was funny that I could Ice Beam it to death and get an Ice Beam kill, but it almost cost me the game. If I bring in Florgs, I outspeed Escavalier, of course. He doesn't have enough HP to live Moonblast. He brings in a Sceptile that's got like 75% health, and then if he Giga Drains, it doesn't even take him back to max health, and I kill him. Now I did get an unfortunate roll. It was like an 80-something. It's like an 80-something% chance, I think, to OHKO with Moonblast from where I was. So I got like a really low roll there that I would have won the game anyway. But still, you know, just go for the win, boys. Just go for the win. But anyway, I wanted to share that battle just because it was crazy at the end with the low roll Moonblast with the Leaf Storm miss that I would have lost had he hit that. I would have uploaded it even if I had lost just to drive home the point of Go for the win. Don't go for the dominance plays to be funny, because it really could cost you the game when you don't expect it to. So, but either way, it was a really good game. Megatroid has never been on YouTube before, and I think he was pretty excited to be on a battle, so I'm happy to be able to do that for him. But anyway, guys, that's going to be it from me. So I want to thank you guys for taking the time out of your day to watch the video, as per the usual. If you enjoyed it, make sure you drop that that like button, and make sure you subscribe to the channel as well if you have not done so. I try to get out YouTube videos about once a week, and of course, the NPAs Season 2 is coming up soon, so you'll be able to check out my NPA battles if you subscribe as well, including the draft video where I announce all my draft picks and explain them, which will be coming up in 3 or 4 days now, so get ready for that. Anyway, guys, that's it for me, so I will check you guys out in the next video.